I believe, if I am not mistaken, we are live.
Yeah, we are. We are. We're
We are
live
live.
on what they call the we're live on what they call the internet.
Yes, the internet, that thing that Dalek downloaded.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello and welcome to our predictions for WWE Crown Jewel 2023. This is the next installment in the Saudi saga. It's like, when people say that NXT TakeOver is the most successful set of events in wrestling history with the same name. It's like the most successful series of events. Like the Saudi saga is like the opposite of that, where it's got like mostly really bad shows and then a couple of decent ones. I mean, especially during the Vince era. But I have a fun fact for everyone. I've never watched a full Saudi show.
Oh my.
Because when I was phasing out of wrestling, it was when I watched the first bit of the Greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view, I think it was. And I got so... I was so disinterested in watching like John Cena versus Triple H and whatever that patriotic garbage was with like Daivari brothers and all that. I just skipped right to the 50-man Rumble and then I just turned it off. I only watched the Rumble match and it was worth it for Titus World Slide. But after that, I just haven't watched like I've seen clips of Saudi shows, but I have never seen a full Saudi show. So this is actually going to be my first one. I'm so glad I quit wrestling before they did the DX match.
Oh, yeah, that's very sad. That's a very sad affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I've seen them all. I think I've seen them all.
You've seen them all?
I think. No, I might have missed one. I think I might have not watched Goldberg Undertaker as it happened. Yeah, I don't think I did. But I've definitely seen the last couple.
Isn't the Goldberg Taker one the worst one? Or at least it's one of them.
It's up there. The tag match, Brothers Destruction and DX might be worse.
Oh, as a match, yeah, but I'm talking about as a pay-per-view, like as an overall show. Like, I'm pretty sure the one that Taker and Goldberg was on was a pretty bad one. There's been a lot of bad Saudi shit.
There's been a lot of bad ones.
Yeah. Although I think people generally say that the most recent one, which was Night of Champions, is the best one. Either that or I think it was the last Vince one, which was Elimination Chamber, I think. Or whatever he wanted to call it, WrestleMania Chamber. Nonsense. Yeah. I mean, what was it? The first Triple H one was last year's Crown Jewel, wasn't it? That was one with Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns.
It was.
And
it was,
Braun Strowman versus Omos.
Was that on that show as well? Oh my god.
It was, yeah. It was, yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I think when people talk about the Triple H era shows, they forget about Crown Jewel 2022. It just kind of disappears.
Well, to be fair, it has. Yeah, everyone remembers that match.
I mean, I
don't think I watched that. I don't think I watched Crown Jewel last year. I don't think I did, actually, thinking about it.
I think the thing is, like, a lot of people consider the Saudi shows kind of non-canon, or at least some of them.
I don't think it's treated in the same way as how Doctor Who fans treat Big Finish.
And you can actually watch these. You can see them.
There are consequences because obviously at the last Saudi show, Seth won the World Heavyweight Championship, the brand new World Heavyweight Championship, which is against AJ Styles, which is a very good match.
I guess in that instance, we're talking about an actual themed pay-per-view. Like Night of Champions is a WWE pay-per-view, but something like Super Showdown or Crown Jewel, those are just big live events, really, aren't they?
Yes. They feel like glorified house shows.
Yes. I certainly remember Greatest Royal Rumble feeling like a house show. But yes, we have another one. We have Crown Jewel 2023. I think this is Christ, this has got to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th Crown Jewel, I think. Did they do one in 2020?
A Crown Jewel?
Yeah, did they do one in 2020?
I don't think they did because of the pandemic.
Okay, so this
They
will
might
be
have done one maybe late in the year. I don't think they did.
Nah, they did
pandemic.
They did a Super Showdown, but not a Crown Jewel. Okay, so this is in that case, this is the 5th Crown Jewel.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit. You know what's interesting about this card is that on paper it looks more enticing than the last two WWE shows have been, but I still have this weird disinterest just purely because it's a Saudi show, and it just doesn't. The Saudi shows never feel like they really matter, or at least these ones don't. Like Night of Champions and Elimination Chamber is different because those would have mattered in the same way if they were in anywhere. You know, if they weren't in Saudi Arabia, they'd be the same, and they just happen to be there. Whereas with the Crown Jewel show, it's almost like this is the obligation show they have to do, and it's the only theme that exists is that it's in Saudi Arabia. I wonder if they still get paid $750 million a year to do 2 shows. Because that's what the original deal was, 2018. They said, we'll pay you $750 million a year to do 2 shows. Like 2 WrestleMania-sized shows. That's pretty weird. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know, just... I'm a bit unstructured. Number 1, because I'm quite tired, and number 2, because this show is just so... I don't know, it's just... I just want to get to Survivor Series, really. That's my main thought. I'm more excited about that, because I feel like that show might actually have something interesting on it. But anyway, your sort of brief anticipations for this show before we get into the card.
To be quite honest, in terms of my acknowledgement of like the stories going into it, other than 1 or 2, I don't have that much investment in this show in terms of watching the product. There's only 2 matches I'm relatively interested in, based on the people who are in it. But I think the actual matches on the card, at least 6 of them are potential matches that could be pretty impressive, and there's a couple that I simply do not care about.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I feel like right now wrestling is really cold.
It's slightly cold, I think.
Yeah,
but it's not bad.
It's not like dead. It's like, you know.
No,
it's been worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we're just waiting to get to November, end of November, when we get past Survivor Series, when we get to Full Gear, when we get to the end of the year and approaching, the Rumble, is when I feel like it's going to start getting, as it always does. Around this time of year, it's always quite quiet after that sort of SummerSlam, post, feeling. When we get to this sort of part of the year, it sort of dies down. I think the last sort of 2 years or so. So
the only,
other than probably when Punk came back, is
that's
like
that's the thing, right? Is that was magic. That 2021 period for AEW was just unheard of. It was a very special time. But usually
when everything hit, yeah.
And also you have to remember that around this time in 2019, Dynamite was first starting. So there was also a buzz around that too. But in general, this time of year is not usually that highlighted. It's quite stagnant. And I've noticed that both brands are not doing their best work at the moment. And I think WWE, if anything, they've been massively helped out by the writers' strike. It's given them some buzz. Because if it wasn't for that, I don't know what people would be watching the shows for. They've been very, very, lukewarm on the whole from what I've seen. And then AEW is kind of the same. Like the main event stuff with MJF is interesting, but everything else is so flat. Yeah. So it's a bit, it's. I remember when we did like Money in the Bank and SummerSlam and All In All Out. That was like massive hype, really exciting stuff. When we were reviewing that, that was like some of the most interested I've been in wrestling like ever, especially around that All In show. But it's just at the moment it's a bit down, but I know it's going to come back. I know when we get to January, it's going to be massive again, as it always is. Those first few months of the year are always really exciting.
Yes.
So yeah, but with Crown Jewel, I guess I know it's not going to be too consequential. I would be very surprised if it was, but I just hope we get a good show with some good matches. But I hope that the Saudi Arabia crowd actually comes alive for the show, because usually they don't really do that. They sort of sit on their hands for a lot of it. I imagine one thing that would be interesting. Do you think it's unlikely, but do you think there's any possibility that the Saudis turn on this show a little bit because Mansoor got released?
No.
No? They don't care enough about him?
I just don't think they care that much.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's... Saudi is never that sort of crowd, I don't think.
Nah.
I very much doubt that. There's a lot of hype going into this for them, I think. So
that's true.
I really doubt that.
Anyway, so the other thing is I hope that even though this is not usually a big storyline pay-per-view, I hope they give us something, like a few things to hold on to. Because there's a few matches on this card where you could advance some stories. You could actually do some pretty interesting stuff with it. Because I actually think there's quite a few matches on here that if they had been on a bigger pay-per-view, they would still fit. But it's just the whole anti-prestige of Crown Jewel hanging over it that I think is giving me pause for thought. If you looked at this card and you told me this was the card for, I don't know, another show, like just a different show, then I would be like, yeah, I'm actually quite interested in the show, because if you look at this card, there's some good stuff on there. Even if the stories on TV haven't been great. But on paper, it looks like a good pay-per-view card, but I just think because it's Crown Jewel, there's just something about it that gives me doubt. But that might work in its favor, to be honest. Like imagine all these matches here in front of like a hot UK crowd. Imagine how much better the show would be.
Yeah, I would probably say so, yeah. Other than probably one or two matches.
So yeah, it's certainly an interesting situation, but yeah, hopefully it works. Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we jump into the card?
No, nothing. Nothing right now. Just I'm ready to predict.
Ready to predict.
Do some predictions.
Right, well, they have resurrected the pre-show matches for the first time in ages.
They have. I think it's the first time in I can't remember the last time Trips has done this, if he actually ever has.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I would have to see, but yeah.
It's been a while. I don't think it's happened this year.
No, definitely not this year.
No. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Vince that was the last one that did it, to be honest.
Yeah, I that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then you've got... It's funny because you don't get them with WWE, but then with AEW, they give you like a 4-match, 1 hour pre-show.
Yeah, not even SummerSlam had one at all. Neither did Money in the Bank. Neither
I think
did.
the reason why is because Triple H has said in the press conferences that he wants to firstly make the pay-per-views, well, PLEs I should say. He wants the PLEs to feel special and like not everyone gets to be on them. And the other thing is that instead of having pre-show matches, he just puts those matches on Raw and SmackDown instead.
Yeah, not even Mania had a pre-show match.
Yeah, like he wants those matches to be on TV. So instead of having a pre-show, he puts what would have been on the pre-show on SmackDown and Raw, so that those TV shows get a boost because they have time to fill. I think that's what he said. And if you have too many pre-show matches, your TV show, like especially with WWE, because you got to remember, like WWE has a fucking 3-hour show one day after the pay-per-view in most cases, sometimes 2 days after, and that's a massive issue if you don't have matches to fill on those shows. Whereas I don't think Vince really cared about that. I think Vince thought he was just indestructible and could book anything. And like if it came to an excess, I mean, to be fair, Vince didn't book too many matches on TV either. He would have a 3-hour show with 30 minutes of wrestling on it. Whereas Triple H will take those pre-show matches.
The last time there was a pre-show match was Clash of the Castle.
Oh.
Do you want to know what it was?
I feel like I should know
Have a
this.
guess what you think it was. Clash of the Castle 2022.
I feel like I should know what this is. I feel like I may have even watched
the first...
it.
Yeah, you probably did, because it's the first proper Trips pay-per-view show. I'll give you a clue. It's a 6-man tag team match.
Oh, right. I was thinking, was it a women's match? But no, there was women's matches on the card. A 6-man tag team match.
It went 6 minutes and 29 seconds.
It can't. I was thinking the Brawling Brutes, but Sheamus faced Gunther at that show, so it's not going to be that. And it's not going to be the Judgment Day because they were on the card with Edge and Rey Mysterio and Dom. And that was when Dom turned on Rey.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it all male competitors?
Yeah, 6-man tag
right,
team match.
So it's not going to be the Viking Raiders then. Because Valhalla's not a man. And then... I'm trying to think of other trios. I've got to get this. This is so important. Obviously, it's not the New Day because Big E's injured. He got injured like ages ago. Like massively ages ago. It was like, what, nearly 2 years?
I think you're going to be very, very... You're going to think this match is very strange, given now.
2022. Clash at the Castle. Does it have a legend in it? Like
no.
Okay, so it's like they were currently signed to the WWE.
All of them were currently signed at the time.
They were like full-time wrestlers, right?
Full-time wrestlers.
All right. I had something in the tip of my tongue, but I think my brain has slipped it. It's not the Usos because they were banned from the stadium because that's when Solo Sikoa debuted.
I'm going to give you 1 more minute.
To
guess.
Hang on. I want one more clue. Is it Raw or SmackDown?
I cannot tell you. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't remember if they were all on the same brand or not.
It's not Imperium because that's when Giovanni Vinci returned and Gunther faced Sheamus. Oh, fuck no, but he was a manager. I was going to say Maximum Male Models, but he's a manager. And you said it's 6-man tag and it doesn't have women, so it can't be.
6-man tag.
And Max Dupree never wrestled, did he?
No.
He was only a manager, yes. Yeah, so it's not.
As far as I remember, he didn't.
It's not Maximum Male Models. I feel like I'm doing pretty good at this.
I will give you one more clue for this last sort of. I'll give you and then you'll have to guess. None of them are trios. It's not a trios. They're not trios teams.
Oh.
You're thinking too much into trios.
Are there any tag teams involved?
There are tag teams in this match.
Okay. Right. Right. Okay.
If you
That's
start guessing
interesting.
which tag teams, I will tell you if they are in the match.
Okay, so I'm going to say that it's a match where there's 2 tag teams and then there's 2 singles. Is that
You're
correct? Okay.
That is correct.
Oh.
I'm going to have to push you for time.
Oh, is Alpha Academy in this match?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So, and they're baby faces, I think. Or were they hang on, were they baby faces in 2022 though?
At the end of 2022.
Because I remember they had that feud at the start of 2022 with RK Bro, and RK Bro was babyface, and then the Street Profits was also involved in that as well, and they were also babyface, and I think at the time Alpha Academy were heel, and then they became babyface like recently. Shit. Because I remember it was...
Gonna need a guess.
When Otis
get moving.
When Otis cut his hair short, he turned heel. That's right. I remember that. Fuck. Alpha Academy versus... Which team is this? It's got to be Raw because they're a Raw team. So it's got to be a Raw team. Christ. Are the Street Profits in the match?
Yes.
Okay. So the Street Profits on one side.
So who are the singles?
And there's Alpha Academy there. That means Alpha Academy heel and Street Profits are babyface at the time. Now they've swapped. Oh, good lord. So Alpha Academy at the time, who they would have been teaming with.
You're gonna have to make some guesses.
I know. Oh my god, my brain. Is Kofi Kingston in this match?
No.
No, he made me. I can't remember if he was. No, Xavier Woods was injured at the time. And they were SmackDown, I think. Is anyone that I've already mentioned?
No.
Okay, so I haven't mentioned the other 2 yet.
No.
Oh, God. And Sami Zayn was on SmackDown, I think. Yeah. Kevin Owens was on Raw, but he wouldn't have been in this match. He's not a pre-show match guy for the most part. Fucking hell. Are there any wrestlers, like, in terms of those 2 singles guys, are either of those 2 singles guys currently signed to AEW?
No.
No, so
I will give you one hint. One of them was the at the time Money in the Bank holder.
Oh, so Austin Theory was with Alpha Academy, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. And then he came out.
Now, who is the last person? I'm going to give you one more guess. You get one more guess, and if you don't get it, I'll
Austin Theory. Austin Theory. That's right. He was in that match because he came out later in the night to try and cash in, but he didn't cash in. Yeah. That's why he was in that match.
Now, who was the partner to the Street Profits?
Yeah, it justified him being in the building. Right, that's right. And then the partner of the Street Profits would have been someone that Austin Theory was feuding with in that, like, US title, like, sort of area. It has to be around. He was
not US champion at the time.
He wasn't, but it's that division. Oh my god, was it? Oh, fuck, was Bobby Lashley a babyface at this time? I was gonna say it would be funny if it was Bobby Lashley, but I don't remember if he was a babyface at this time. Is it Bobby Lashley?
No, it was Madcap Moss.
Of course, it was fucking Madcap Moss.
Madcap Moss and the Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Alpha Academy on the pre-show. That was the last pre-show match.
I wouldn't have gone Madcap Moss. That's too much of a deep cut.
That was the last pre-show match until today. That was a very long tangent.
You could have given me a hint by saying one of the competitors is no longer signed with WWE.
I could have done that. But we were pressed for time.
Anyway, we've wasted 25 minutes. Shall we do some predictions?
Yeah. Yes.
This ridiculous build-up.
Well, I guess we should start with the now newest pre-show match.
Yes, we have Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, and this is because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were feuding with the Judgment Day over the tag team titles a couple of pay-per-views ago, and then the Judgment Day ended up losing them to Cody and Jey Uso. And JD McDonough is heavily involved in the Judgment Day storyline. I believe he's still not officially part of it, but he wants to be part of it, is what I understand. And I think they are definitely trying to tell a really long story with this, but it seems like they're telling a story that's taking too long to tell, and I don't know where it's going. But I have gone for a bit of a curveball with this, a bit of a risky choice. I've gone with JD McDonough. I don't think it'll be clean, but I've gone with JD McDonough, and this is my Androzani pick. So even if you're right, you'll only get half a point, and if you're wrong, you lose a point.
Right. Okay. Well, I've gone for Sami Zayn because not obviously last time they were in Saudi, he got a very big reaction. So I imagine when he comes out, he'll get another big reaction, and we'll probably get a nice heartfelt win just to open the show. So I've gone for Sami Zayn.
That's a very good point. I did not consider that.
Well,
I was thinking storylines.
They're not going to further storylines on the pre-show. Sami Zayn's just going to get a win, I imagine.
Okay. Well, if you're right, you only get half a point.
Mm-hmm.
So there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon this has, depending on how much time they give this has potential to be pretty good. Both guys are, good in-ring workers. Sami Zayn
definitely. This could be a very good match.
I mean, Sami Zayn, athletically speaking, is definitely at the tail end. Like, he's much older than he used to be, but as a storyteller, he's still got it.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a great storyteller. And JD McDonough is a fantastic cruiserweight. So, yeah, this could be a fun bout.
Could be. Definitely.
Yep. So, moving on to the main card, we have, for the United States Championship, we have Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. And last year, Logan Paul challenged Roman Reigns for the Undisputed title, which Reigns still has.
Yeah, he does. Even
Yes.
a year later.
Yes. So, I don't know if this is as risky of a choice, but I am predicting Logan Paul. And I know he's a part-timer, but I just have this feeling. I don't know why, but there's something about... I feel like with the United States Championship, it being taken off the show for Logan Paul to advertise is something that they would do. And unlike the world title, it wouldn't feel like it would diminish its existence as much. Now, I could be wrong about this. Rey Mysterio could definitely retain. But I just have this feeling that Logan Paul's going to win it.
Yeah, I've quite easily, I've gone for Logan Paul. I think he's absolutely winning this match. And the reason being, because they're going to want to have that image, that framing of him with the United States Championship on his podcast, they absolutely are going to put the title on him. I'll be really shocked if they don't.
Yeah, well,
And I don't think it's even going to be a particularly long reign. He could probably hold it until the Rumble. But yeah, I think they will, at least during this run of Logan, they're going to want to put the title on him, put a title on him, and it's going to be the United States, because that probably makes the most sense in terms of titles. That probably would suit a part-time run with the belt.
Well, yeah, because there was a similar idea with the Money in the Bank briefcase, but I was hesitant with that because I feel like the implications are different. But with the United States Championship, it's one where you can actually make that sacrifice, and it could do a net positive. I mean, he would certainly get heat for being the US champion. Like, that is it's of all the single belts to give Logan Paul, the one that makes the most sense is the US title, I think.
Yes, definitely.
And if they're not having LA Knight involved in the main event scene at Mania, they could have LA Knight take it off Logan Paul at some point.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely could.
But yeah, I think Rey Mysterio vs. Logan Paul has the potential to be a very exciting match.
That should be very fun. Very fun match.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio has been turning back the clock ever since he got that advanced knee surgery. And obviously Logan Paul is a remarkable athlete. Even though he's a twat. Not just his character, but in real life. Man, some of that drama with him and his fiance, I can't believe.
To be fair, I wouldn't put that on him.
He's involved in a lot of stuff, though. Like,
he is, but the person he faced was very misogynistic, Dylan Dennis.
That is true, but he gets himself into hot water. Like, he is just one of those guys that gets himself into hot water. And sometimes...
no, yeah, I agree with that. With the Dylan Dennis stuff, I think the guy was just very harassing, very much a harassment kind of person. He was very, very, very toxic.
I understand that. I'm not putting it on Logan Paul. I'm just saying that he gets himself into hot water all the time. He's a magnet for drama. Regardless of whether it was his fault or not. Sometimes there are things that are his fault and sometimes they're not. But he's one of those guys where he can't have a break from it. Like, it's very rare to find Logan Paul have a few months without something getting in the way of his life. Yeah, he's one of those people, and that's probably one of the reasons why he gets so much hate. But I mean, he is just a natural heel, though. That's also a part of it. He actually does have some, maybe not so much as a talker, because some of his promos are a bit cringe. But I think he's better with like the in-ring heat though than he is with the microphone heat. I don't think his social media celebrity talking style suits WWE promo style. They don't really mesh well because they're very different. You know, the appeal of a social media celebrity's talking style is very off the cuff, and it's quite spontaneous, whereas WWE promos are the opposite of spontaneous. They're very prepared. You can't really get that kind of balance, and that's the main issue I have with his promos. But having said that, I think this match has a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, does Logan Paul win clean, or does Rey Mysterio get screwed?
Probably Mysterio gets screwed.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, the next match we have is Cody Rhodes versus Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. I'm sure that there will be a lot of story around this match, given the feud between the Judgment Day, Cody, and Jey Uso. I'm interested to see what happens. this is a bit of a strange situation because you've got Cody who, if he's going to be winning the belt at Mania, you want to have him keep winning. You want to have him keep winning matches. That makes sense, at least if you're trying to build him up as a, is keeping that credibility. But also, Damian Priest has said you're Money in the Bank, and you also want to keep him credible too. So it's a bit of a tricky situation, but I have decided to go for Cody Rhodes here as my prediction. I think it's the safe option. I can't say I'm certain on it, but I think it's the safe option.
Mm-hmm. I've also gone for Cody because I think there's potential. I think probably for the first time since SummerSlam where there's a potential of a cash-in. And I think if what they might do, I'll probably explain later, but I think there's a very good chance of a cash-in on this show. So I've gone for Cody to get the win over Damian.
Okay.
Should be a decent match, hopefully, if they give it time.
Yeah, I'd say so. Both these guys know what they're doing. I mean, Cody's a great storyteller. Damian Priest is definitely having his best year of his career right now. And then we have a featured attraction match, which no one saw coming until the writer's strike happened. And now we have something that we wouldn't have had otherwise. We have the return of John Cena to Saudi Arabia since I think it's the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time he's been to Saudi Arabia since Greatest Royal Rumble.
I imagine it would be, yes.
Yeah, since the first one, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. It was 5.5 years ago. Yeah. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa.
Oh, it feels like Solo's really lost all momentum since SummerSlam, unfortunately.
Where is Jimmy Uso?
He's around. He was on last week's show.
Yeah.
He just was on this week's show.
Is he doing much?
I don't remember. He's sort of there running errands for the bloodline.
Oh. This is why WWE needs an off season. Because when you have it all year round, you get
or put the belt on Cody. Maybe that would have been a.
That's also true. You've said that at every predictions we've done.
Because it's still true to this day.
Yeah, it is. You're gonna even if he wins the belt at Mania, you're still gonna keep saying it. Because he's like, we should have
a year too late, and we've had this whole year of like there have been matches and moments where these probably wouldn't have happened if they just put the belt on Cody.
Yeah, because that's the thing is right.
Still run all the stuff that they did.
As if he beats Roman next Mania, we're just gonna be like, oh yeah, now they did it finally. Whereas if he had won it at this Mania, yeah. Whereas if they had done it this year, it would have been a massive reaction. Like we would have loved it.
Mm-hmm. Well, imagine this show, Cody Rhodes versus a heel LA Knight, maybe.
Ooh,
could have been possible when LA Knight is so hot right now.
Very interesting. Yeah. Oh well.
I imagine like matches against Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor at SummerSlam, or against people coming up during that time. Maybe you face a Jimmy, or maybe you face Roman again at I don't know. They could have done a whole bunch of different things.
Well, we said the Brock matches for the title instead of without the title.
Oh no, yeah. Brock SummerSlam for the title. Yeah, absolutely. That feud should have been for the title. But yeah. So what's your prediction for this match then?
For which match? Oh right, Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Sorry, I kept thinking about Cody Rhodes. I was like, I thought we got past that. I predict Solo Sikoa to win. I think Cena is just past it. I don't see a reason to have Cena win. He's going away again. In the ring, he's very limited. Why would you have him win? I don't see a reason. Outside of the fact that outside of the fact that Sikoa's like not that high up. But I just don't like, what would be the point of it, really? Like, what are you going to do with Cena after this match if he wins?
So, the story they've been trying to seemingly give with Cena, I think he obviously put him a couple of weeks ago talking about, what if I'm not good enough anymore? The crowd were chanting, "You've still got it," or stuff like that. And he says, but what if I don't? And I think what they're trying to do is paint this picture of, is this Cena's last gasp? Is this it? And in a way, I think it is, but I think what they're going to do is have him go out on one last hurrah. So that's why I've gone for John Cena winning. I think that's what they're going to do.
And do you think this is his last match? Like,
No,
ever?
but I think this is his last proper run. This will be the last time he is ever on TV consistently.
It happened by accident. That's the funny part.
Yeah, it did. And I think they were probably going to do this run maybe another time, but I think they have decided to. I think they're going to put Cena over as a last sort of his last big win, because that's what they're paying this as a big match for Big Match John, and he's going to have one last.
He's never going to get to 17 world titles, you think?
I think there'll be one more match he'll have in his career for the world title at whatever point in the next 2 years, maybe. But I think he will not break the record.
Yeah, they're probably going to have Charlotte Flair break the record, to be fair.
Yes. Oh, well, maybe they'll quickly put the belt on John now that Ric Flair's in AEW.
Oh, fucking hell!
That's a very big possibility, but I've gone for Cena.
Imagine WWE had spent all these years like hot potatoing the women's title to try and get Charlotte to break the record. Her contract expires, she goes to AEW, and they can't even do it. She like bows out on 15. That would be hysterical. Because this is the problem, right? Is that WWE, if they were going to make her win 17 women's championships, they would want Ric Flair to be there when she does it. And he's signed a multi-year contract, so they're going to have to wait for her to win that and get him back for it. Or just like beg Tony Khan for permission. Which they won't do that. I mean, they got TNA to let him, put Ric Flair in the Hall of Fame, but that's TNA. That's different. They have a lot more leverage over TNA, especially in 2012 after they'd just been destroyed. Funnily enough, TNA is coming back.
It is.
I like how there's rumors about Punk being in WWE, TNA, and AEW. There's people saying that he's going to be in all three of them. And like, in my mind, I'm like, it's possible he might just be in none of them. This might all just be codswallop. But it's interesting because they're doing so many teasers to him on TV, and yet all backstage reports say there's been no talks. It's very strange. Like, if they have been talking, it seems to be like really under wraps, and like the head of creative is lying to his top stars and saying no, they're not, or he's forcing them to do non-disclosure agreements and whatnot, which is not unheard of for that company, is it? Non-disclosure agreements.
No.
What is that Tony Khan said about Vince shooting his shots? God. Okay, well, I've predicted Solo Sikoa, so we're at odds there. Would you agree? Would you agree that it would be better if they had Solo Sikoa win?
Oh, of course, yeah. But they're not going to do it. I think they will.
Crazy. All right, we have a fatal 5-way match for the Women's World Championship between Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. This looks like it's going to be a fucking mess of a match. Even though there is some talent in this match, I don't see like it's going to take a lot of very smart booking to make this work, I think.
Yeah, when you've got Nia Jax in a chaotic match, yeah, I'm not expecting big things.
Yeah.
Did you see the promo that she cut like 2 weeks ago?
No.
It was really cringe. It was really cringe. She is awful on the mic.
I mean, I saw Stevie Richards do a breakdown of how terrible her bonsai drop is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that. I've never understood. I guess it's just the unique look and the unique aura and the fact that she's The Rock's cousin. I just never understood the appeal, why Triple H is so high on Nia Jax. He just has him and a bunch of other officials in that company, they just see something in her that I don't see. But I guess it's that the WWE has always been like that. They've been very obsessed with aesthetic, haven't they? They've always been like that. I mean, Vince especially, but they just they think she looks like the kind of person that if you saw her in the street, you'd be scared of her. That's what they think about. That's the things that they think about. It's the very surface level appeal. But the bottom line is that Nia Jax is dangerous in the ring and she injures people. And I just can't. And her promos are absolute garbage, and her matches are absolute garbage. So why? Yeah. It's like they're trying to create this like China effect out of her, but it's not working. I mean, my favorite Nia Jax moment was when she said, "My hole,
in the pandemic. Oh,
my hole." Remember when she came back at the Royal Rumble and they played her music before the countdown,
yeah.
and then all the women eliminated her, and she did the DX chop.
Oh god.
It's just so cringe.
Yes.
Oh dear. My prediction for this massive match is Rhea Ripley to retain.
Yep, I've also gone for Rhea Ripley, and this is my Genesis pick.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I feel like this is the most confident. Even though this is like there are 4 other people that could win this match. If they generally take the belt off Rhea here, fucking hell, what an absolutely pointless run. Like, why now? Why would this be the match to take the belt off her?
I think a match like this is establishing that she's running through the entire Raw women's roster.
Exactly, as it should be.
Mm. And I think
Rhea Ripley, and this is my Genesis pick.
It's after a match like this that you then can bring in a new person to face her that's not been in the title picture. You know, I feel like that's what you should be doing after a match like this, is that you've cleared the field of contenders, so now bring in a new person. And there's a lot of potential for who that could be. Or not a lot of potential, but some. There is some potential. But yeah, I would not be surprised if this is the weakest match on the show. I could be surprised by it, but I just don't have good vibes off this. This does not feel like it has been thought through. That's what I would say. It feels very thrown together.
Yeah.
I mean, what has Zoe Stark done since she ditched Trish in the cave?
She's had matches. She's been around. She's just sort of there at the moment, from what I remember watching.
Yeah.
I feel like the only people who I give stock to is probably Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark in this match. I don't care about Raquel Rodriguez, and I don't care about Nia Jax.
Yeah, Raquel Rodriguez is very average, and Nia Jax is trash.
Yeah. Raquel Rodriguez rolling her R's because that makes the promos better, right?
Yeah, that does not sound right. That does not sound culturally appropriate at all. Wonder how she feels about being a Mexican stereotype.
No, it's just like, I don't know if she does it because it probably sounds cool or whatever, but it's like sometimes, like when fucking what's his name introduced Alberto Del Rio, that was cool.
Yeah, but that's on purpose. He's doing that to be theatrical. That's the whole idea. Is that Alberto Del Rio was a pompous twat, and he had his own
notable prick.
Yeah, notable prick. He had his own ring announcer that would make him seem larger than life, and he was way in over his head. That was the whole character. I can't believe I'm complimenting Alberto Del Rio because of how like bland this is by comparison. Alberto Del Rio was actually a character with an actual like cause and effect and a purpose and a reason for why his character was the way he was. You know, the aristocratic Mexican man from wealth who had a destiny to win the world title was actually an actual story. Shit, babyface though, he was shocking. Oh, early 2013, Del Rio was not good. If you want to see a great Mexican wrestling character, Eddie Guerrero is the one to go to. I lied! Anyway, we have... Oh my god! We have 2 women's titles matches on a pay-per-view. What is happening? This is a rarity in these troubled times. When was the last time we had this? Is it SummerSlam? Oh, not even... No, did Rhea defend at SummerSlam? I can't remember.
No.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what her last defense was.
I actually genuinely don't remember that when they defended both women's titles on a pay-per-view in either company. I think it might honestly be Double or Nothing. Because Double or Nothing had the TBS title and the women's world title. And then before that would have been WrestleMania. That's pretty fucked up. Anyway, so, yeah. We have a second women's title match. We have Io Sky with Bayley and Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair. Now, unlike the other women's match, I'm really, really looking forward to this in ring. This should be a classic if they give it time and if they book it right. Because both Io Sky and Bianca Belair are 2 of the best athletes in the women's division. And SmackDown women's division is definitely stronger than the Raw one. They are telling a story with Damage to Control. At what point in that story we are in, I'm not sure. I want to see... You know what? This is not going to happen because we can't have nice things. But if I was booking this match, this would be the perfect time to do a double turn. Because Io Sky can get over as a babyface, and Bianca Belair can make a great heel.
Yes.
If there was ever a time to do a double turn, it would be this match. Regardless...
Yeah, but they never do double turns.
Hardly ever. But regardless of who the winner is, because you could do it either way, but this match will be ripe for a double turn. Because Io Sky as a character is like a babyface, but she's in a heel faction.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when Batista was in Evolution or when Wardlow was in the Pinnacle.
Yes, a little bit. He has that same vibe.
And Bianca Belair just needs to turn heel. She's so ready to turn heel. It just needs to happen. There's so much potential with that. Like the character has justification to have an edge. Because of the damage control element of the match, I have predicted Io Sky to retain. Now, I could be very wrong about this. Bianca Belair has won matches many times before where we thought she wouldn't. So it very much could go the other way, but I've gone with Io Sky.
Yeah, for me, this is probably the toughest match on the card to predict. I think. Ugh. I'm also going to go with Io Sky. I think they are going to have a retain. But that's a very hard maybe. And honestly, this is going to be my Androzani pick.
Yeah, that's a good choice for it.
Because I'm really not sure. But this one could go either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So you went with Io Sky, did you?
I did go with Io Sky.
Yeah, it's tough. This is like the women's equivalent of back in the day, whenever you had someone as the champion and they eventually ran into the brick wall that was John Cena, and there was a very high chance they were losing the belt to him. Or at least that was the perception. And it's like, it's kayfabe, obviously, but there's just something about the fact that she's facing Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match that just screams she's going to lose the belt. But I don't want another babyface Bianca reign. I don't think that's a good idea. If Bianca's going to win this match, I want it to be a heel turn. You know, I want it to at least be something like that. Because I want it to be different to her last reign. I think if they have Bianca win this clean, have her stay as a babyface, and not lean into the direction they've been going, I think the crowd could massively turn on her. Especially like leading up to Mania. I think she could get like proper heat from the crowd as a babyface. Like the not the heat that you want, the heat that you don't want. And I think she's better than that. I think that Bianca Belair is better than that position. And I think it's a good idea to strike while the iron is still going to be hot rather than when it's too late. Because if they wait too long to give Bianca her heel run, it's not going to work. And I know that there's advertisers and sponsors that like her as a babyface because she's marketable, but there's something to be said, especially with Triple H as head of creative. I think he has the balls to do it. I mean, look, they turned Roman Reigns heel in the pandemic, and they've kept him heel since. And he's still the top merchandise seller in the company, I think. Or at least he's one of them. Actually, no, he's not. Mm-hmm. There is someone that sells more merchandise than him, and that's his opponent, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so yeah. Io Sky. I hope Io Sky wins, because I don't want it to just end here.
Me too.
Right, we have 2 world title matches. The first is for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins versus a seemingly on the verge of turning heel Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you think there's going to be a cash-in on this show, and
I think this is probably the highest probability of there being a cash-in since SummerSlam, but I don't think it's 100% for certain. I think they've done a really good job with Drew in terms of his character seemingly being more and more pissed off with every round and telling him to just move on from what happened at Clash of the Castle. And I think there's been a really good slow burn for his heel turn, which I think is going to happen on this show. Well, at the very least, this week. There's 2 possibilities in my head. Either Seth retains, and then Damien cashes in. Well, actually, no, there's 3 opportunities. There could be just Seth wins and there's no cash in. The other 2 are Seth wins, but cashes in on, or Damien cashes in mid-match, making it a triple threat and wins. I think those are the 3 possibilities. I don't think Drew is winning this match.
Yeah, neither. I think for the trajectory of his character, it makes sense for Drew to lose this match, whether it's clean or dirty. losing the match is important to make him further frustrated.
Yes.
And you are right that you are right that the briefcase getting involved in it would definitely add something to that.
It would add more fuel to the fire.
Well,
so I've gone for Seth Rollins.
I've also gone for Seth Rollins. Yeah. I mean, it would be... It's interesting because of the whole cash-in thing. It'd almost be easier to predict who loses than who wins. But I guess that's just not how the predictions work. If
you really wanted to, you could predict Damian to win the match, to win the World Heavyweight Championship, but there's very risky because they've only done that only once.
It's very unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. If Damian does win the match, then we'll just have 0 points each.
Yeah, because we didn't predict him to win.
Yeah. Yeah, so Seth Rollins to win over Drew McIntyre. I think in terms of story, this is one of the matches I'm the most looking forward to, just because of what they've been doing with Drew.
In terms of coming out of it, what the potential story on Raw for the top title could be is very intriguing.
Well,
and the match itself should be very good.
Well, yes, I mean, that is true, but I mean mainly in the sense of, I mentioned before how wrestling's quite cold at the moment, but there's a couple of things that are interesting. On the AEW side, it's MJF and all those challenges that are constantly surrounding him. And then the other thing that's really interesting at the moment is Drew McIntyre. And like the where they've been taking his character in the last few weeks is fascinating. So yeah, I'm very the character I'm the most invested on the show to see where they develop is Drew McIntyre, I think. It won't be the match I had the most excitement to watch, but it's the one where I'm the most intrigued to see what happens with the characters involved, which seems to be something that they're trying to make Monday Night Raw a sort of feature of. That seems to be what they're trying to make out of that show, as opposed to SmackDown, where it's more about event, I guess you could say. It's more event based. And speaking of, for the first time since, I guess technically, SummerSlam did count as one, because I forgot that wasn't just about Tribal Chief, it was also for the title. But yeah, since the first time since SummerSlam, we have a match for the Undisputed Universal Championship. We have Roman Reigns versus LA Knight. I think LA Knight's going to be massively over. I think it'll be an exciting match with lots of near falls. I think they will try and make you believe that LA Knight's about to win the match, and then at 2.99, Reigns will kick out. But ultimately, I think this is going to be a Roman Reigns win, and this is my Genesis pick. I'm very, very, very confident that Roman Reigns is winning this match.
Yeah, I've also gone for Roman Reigns. I feel like this is... Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to drop the belt here at Crown Jewel against LA Knight. As hot as LA Knight is, and as exciting as it would be, it would just make him winning at Mania even more confusing.
Yes, and also, this match, I feel like, is going to be the tester of, is he going to be a mainstay main eventer, or is he going to be a flash in the pan? I think that's what they're trying to do with LA Knight here. By putting him up against Roman Reigns, you're really testing him at the top level now. And I think this is the match where LA Knight needs to get into like an extra gear in terms of his matches. He's able to have quite good matches, on a good day. I don't have negative things to say about his in-ring work, but I think there is a level of main event match that he hasn't reached yet, and I think this is his opportunity to do it with Roman Reigns. And I'm intrigued to see when he is pushed to the main event of a pay-per-view for the biggest belt against the biggest guy. When he's put in that position, how far can he go? I want to see what is his limit. Because I feel like we haven't actually seen what LA Knight's limit is yet. So it's going to be very interesting in that regard. But I think I'm pretty 99.9% certain that Roman Reigns is winning this.
Yep, same here.
Yep. I don't think he'll defend the belt again until Royal Rumble. Possibly Survivor Series, but I doubt it. I think he will defend it against somebody at the Rumble and then probably lose it to Cody at Mania. If there was an opponent at Royal Rumble, who do you think it will be?
For who?
For Reigns.
I imagine Cody, but I don't think Cody's winning the Rumble. At least right now. I don't think the winner of the Rumble this year is going to challenge for the Undisputed. I think it's going to be for the World Heavyweight. At least right now. That's my prediction right now. Obviously, going forward the next month or so.
Do you think they're going to do Roman versus Cody at Mania or Roman versus The Rock?
Yes. Yes, I think they're doing Cody.
Okay. But I'm just thinking because I feel like they will have Roman in a title match at the Rumble pay-per-view.
Yes.
I'm just wondering who it's going to be against.
It'll probably be Kevin Owens again.
Oh god, that's happened like 3 times in this one reign.
It would have happened 3 times, yeah. Well,
yeah.
4 times because they faced for the Universal or a Rumble, 2017.
Oh yeah, they did.
And then one in the pandemic, then last year, or this year. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know who he'll face at Royal Rumble. But it'd be funny if it was Kevin.
I mean, technically, it's not the same reign, but it's the same belt. It's just
the same belt, yeah.
It's just the first time they did it, it was red. Now it's blue. When it's actually no, now it's gold.
Now it's gold.
What if it was Bad Bunny?
That'd be funny.
He's like one of the only big names left that they haven't done. Oh my god, no, I know who it is. It's not going to be this person, but the absolute perfect person to have it be is CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
That is like legitimate. No, but it's legitimately, it is one of the only big names left that actually could fit that billing, and it would be exciting. And they would have Punk lose, but that is actually a name where if it was advertised, I'd be like, I want to see that. Apart from CM Punk, I can't think of anyone else. Unless they did a heel versus heel match. Oh, I know. They haven't done Bobby Lashley, have they?
No, against Roman, I don't think they have.
Yeah.
They've done again. He's faced Brock and Roman's interfered. That was.
I mean, if the booking wasn't so shambolic, I would say Karrion Kross because of that hourglass thing they did a year ago. But they've just thrown him into the dirt so hard. So I don't know if that would work. They'd have to do a lot of heavy lifting to rebuild that, and no one has any belief in the world that Kross would ever beat him for the belt anyway. So I don't know what point there would be in doing that. But I could see them doing Bobby Lashley, actually, because, you know, spear versus spear and all that. But then again, Lashley is a heel, so it's a heel versus heel match. I don't know. I genuinely think, though, if they signed CM Punk, he came in Chicago at Survivor Series, and then he challenged Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view to try and reclaim the belt that he lost 11 years ago at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view from The Rock. That would actually be quite a good story. And then you could have Cody face him at Mania. I don't know. There's a few options there. But they are very on the babyface side of things, they basically ran out of options. Like they've all been used up, haven't they? Pretty much all of the names that are worth anything. I mean, what they could just do like a multi-man match. I don't know what the I don't know.
I feel like that's been a while since can't remember the last time Roman's been in a multi-man match.
Well, I mean, he was in that triple threat with Bryan Danielson and Edge.
I feel like that's the last time.
Yeah, and obviously he had that.
He
had that thing with like the Fiend and Braun Strowman back in 2020. Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
That's the show.
was Reigns supposed to be in a multi-man match at day one, but he got COVID. Was that what happened?
No, he was meant to face Brock 1-on-1.
Yeah. And then Brock.
Then he got COVID, and then Brock won the WWE Championship, and that's why we're in the situation we are in today.
Yeah, and now we have another belt.
It's funny how COVID for both times for Roman when he missed it when he missed Mania initially, then became the Tribal Chief. Then when he actually got COVID, they combined the championship.
It's very, very strange. COVID is just, it's weird, the things it's done to this world. Very weird. Yeah, well, that's the predictions.
Yeah.
Weird days for Gunther. Why isn't he defending his belt at PLEs lately? Well, the last time is because he was beating the Honky Tonk Man's record, and they wanted to line it up like that.
Yeah. But now he's just not on the. He hasn't been on a pay-per-view in like 3 months.
Was Gunther at the last Crown Jewel?
Was he? Yeah, because he was at Night Champions this year.
Oh right, okay.
Faced Mustafa Ali. Last year, I can't remember what the match was. If he was,
doesn't look like he was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
But he was on the last Saudi show.
Brock versus Bobby Lashley for 6 minutes. Damage Control versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a steel cage match. Remember that? Bloody.
Was that? When was that? Last year?
Last Crown Jewel, yeah.
Oh god, I don't even remember that.
Judgment Day and Dominic.
Yeah, I definitely didn't. Yeah, I definitely didn't watch that show.
Judgment Day versus the OC. Braun Strowman versus Omos. The Usos versus the Brawling Brutes. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. And Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul.
Fucking hell, I do not remember that card at all. I definitely didn't watch it then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about Gunther. I guess... I don't know. Are they just going to have Chad Gable beat him for the belt at some point?
I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, I think Triple H doesn't want to load up the card too much. That's why he's swapping. Like, you'll notice what he does is he has the IC title on one pay-per-view and the United States title on the other one. And he does the same thing with the 2 women's belts as well. He has swapped them around. They'll alternate. It's almost like having brand exclusive pay-per-views in a way, but it's not, because they do swap. They do merge brands, but they have like half of one brand and half of the other. It's a bit strange, but it's the way he wants. It's the way he's formatted it. I imagine Gunther will be on Survivor Series. Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's a stream. Anything else you want to say before we close this out?
I hope it's a fun show, because Night Champions was a pretty decent show. Looking back on, yeah, I feel like there's 2 matches I don't really care about, which is
just to remember though,
World Championship and Cena solo.
Just to remember though, when Night of Champions was on, WWE was white hot.
It was at the time, yeah.
Not white hot, but it was red hot.
It was red hot.
Yeah. White hot was like Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. Like that was when.
Well, it was really like Clash of the Castle to Elimination Chamber. Well, really to Mania Night 1, really. I feel like that sort of run from Clash of the Castle to Mania Night 1 was a really good period for WWE.
Well, it was that period of time when Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa were both in the Bloodline together. It was that period of time, and then also the little bit after that when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were feuding with the Bloodline up to WrestleMania. Like that was a very, very special period of time. And then you also had Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble as well on top of that. Anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoyed the predictions, and we'll see you on the review. Should probably be in a day's time.
Probably, yeah. Maybe.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right.
See ya.
Adieu.
Bye.
A good night. A goodbye.